Well, I got so much difficult work to do because my exhaust really got crushed and I want to install a loop delete, but I'm having so much trouble because my armor is in such rough shape. And, you know, I had all of this armor off maybe about 18 months ago. I don't think it was 2 years ago. There's a big bolt here in the frame. The clip completely busted inside. I had to cut the bolt with a grinding wheel. One of the things I wanted to do was straighten out this transfer case skid and try to reinforce it and weld some angle iron in there. These rock these rock dome washers, unbelievably hard to get them apart. They get so deformed from gliding over rocks. Now I got to get a Dremel and try to open it up a little bit. I have one more in the center there, and if I could get that one out, then I could remove this skid plate, I believe, get this transfer case skid off. So I've been working on this, going strong now since, geez, I don't know, probably 2.5, 3 hours, and very little to show for all this hard work. Very, very bent. All the bolts, all the hardware, completely annihilated. Most of it was bent. Had to use pry bars and put tension on it. Busted clips that go inside the frame. Had to cut one bolt. One of the rock dome washers completely missing. Freaking brutal. So right now, the floor jack is holding up the weight on the engine skid. There are 2 brackets at the front of the vehicle that come down off the motor mount. I'm going to disconnect that and totally remove that engine armor as well. So then I can assess and clean and see what the hell's going on here. And I still have exhaust work to do. The exhaust was really fighting me. Maybe I'll be able to get at it better now and fix that up now that the armor's out of the way. All right. Transfer case skid plate. All the rusted, busted, bent, nasty hardware. I'll have to buy all new hardware after I reinforce this and straighten this armor out. So my engine, I mean, the skid plates have done their job. I mean, everything looks really nice under there. It's dirty. I can get it cleaned up. I gotta look at that transmission cross member. It looks like it's taking a pretty good shot. We'll check all of that out. One of the problems, you can see my lower control arms, the mounting points. Really what I need is skids on those. The mounting point, especially on that front passenger side, is all folded in. These skids here have done a good job in the front. They've served me well, but it's the back frame portion of the control arm mounts that seems to take a real beating, and you can see that in the front and as well as in the rear. That driver's side rear control arm mount has really been hit and folded up, and now the control arm itself is exposed. Not so much on the passenger side because you got that gas tank armor there that probably takes a lot of the hits. All right, there's the engine, and it really goes down far. It goes all the way from the front of the motor all the way down to underneath the tranny, so that's where it ties in right there. And you can see that this is curved up 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch at the highest point. I mean, it's done its job, but it's showing a lot of wear and tear. And if nothing else, if I can straighten this out and reassemble it, definitely got to get in touch with Rock Hard 4x4 and get an install kit, see if they can give me all new rock dome washers and bolts And then in regards to the transfer case skid, there's a large bolt that goes in on the frame into an existing clip. And that bolt was right in here. There was a clip in here, and that clip completely locked up on me and busted. And I had to get the grinding wheel, the cutting wheel, and cut the bolt off. So I don't even know what I would do with that to anchor it. Well, I want to take a few minutes to get underneath the Jeep. You can see right there that the armor had pushed up. Just a little bit of vibration and it was rubbing up against the transfer case. So even as much as it flexed, it clearly protected the transfer case. This is the rock hard 4x4 aftermarket, really beefy transmission mount that all the armor ties into. And there might be a little dent right there. It might have caved in just a little bit. I don't think it's a problem. I'm more concerned with, after I get a hardware kit, there are some nuts inside there that, might have been stripped out. I had to put a lot of tension with a pry bar downward to get the bolts out. I really don't want to mess with taking the gas tank armor off. It seems to be pretty intact. Maybe I'll try snugging some of the bolts. I mean, you're just looking at so much massive work. Probably have to cut off a lot of the bolts, then get new hardware. And haven't really had any problem with the gas tank armor. Now what you're seeing in the bottom of my oil pan was, I think, one of my first little skid plates, a Rubicon Express. It just kind of attached to the front of the motor and then tied back in. I kept it on. And then you can see two bars coming down. There's a bar on the left to the skid and the right. Those go up to the engine motor mount. That's where it ties in. So now we're looking at the ugly loop right here. I do have a loop delete kit. The dimensions on the directions obviously don't work because I run exhaust spacers because I'm still running my stock front drive shaft, which is done really well with a 2.5 inch lift. It's really served me good. So because I only have a 2.5 inch lift, it's still recommended to put the exhaust spacers in. So I've got I think they're 1.5 inch exhaust spacers. So obviously I would have to cut down from the catalytic converter 1.5 inches less than what the directions called for. But I would like to get rid of that loop. It hangs down. It's a ridiculous exhaust design. Right now I've got these exhaust clamps loose. The exhaust seems to have taken a hit, and it's kind of pushed up tight to the frame. It's not making any noise or anything, but my intentions were to try to straighten that out and maybe rotate that bent, all that crushed part of the muffler. I wanted to rotate it 180 degrees, but that was fighting me while I had all the armor on. So maybe I'll be taking some of this exhaust apart too, but just a little bit at a time. This kind of work is grueling on your back in the driveway, and you just get a little done each day. All right, got those two pieces of armor off, just pressure washed them. Now I'm going to gently get underneath the Jeep, and I've got access to a lot of areas now that I normally don't have access to, and do a little cleaning, get rid of some of that mud and dirt. A lot of work ahead of me. All right, the good news is after about 5 hours, I just took the soft top off the Jeep, put a couple trail doors on the back, and basically I put the exhaust back together, kept the armor off. It really needs to be addressed. I want to I want to work on the muffler too and install the loop delete. So kind of a hard day today. That's the way it goes sometimes. But at least now the Jeep can be driven. It's just I wouldn't wheel it, not past anything past the dirt road, because all my armor, all my underside's exposed right now except the gas tank. And I still have my front leaking axle seal. Rear shock is bent. And the muffler's taking a beating. So, but that's all right. It can be driven around town, no worries. And every day I just try to fix something and get this thing back up to par.